Did you wake up this morning feeling a bit grumpy, a little bit out of sorts, maybe a bit discombobulated? Well, that's a real fit for what's going on energetically today. I'm Sharron Martin, and I bring through to you messages from Gaia, which is my absolute privilege and blessing. I work with her on a daily basis, and that's part of what I do. So let me tell you, we've gone through a lot of very differing energies over the past week. And so I'll just run through what it is that has been my experience, and that might help you figure out what's been going on for you. So, over the last couple of weeks, we have been moving through the birth canal, really, as we've sort of been squeezed through, both individually and as a planet, through this sort of very narrow point that is like a portal or a birthing canal. And we've been squeezed through the narrow point, and we've been in the last couple of weeks kind of coming out of the other end of it. So we've been experiencing lots of coming in and going out, and that's been our experience in a lot of physical ways, actually. So what is really useful to understand is that we're each working with the macro and the micro. So what often is happening in our bodies is happening in the inside of the planet, or in the inside of our earth, and vice versa. So when I awakened on the 7th of April, I have to tell you that when I felt in just from my bed, it was as though the entire earth had taken in this really massive, big in-breath. And it felt very full. It was, full like the tide on a supermoon, and full like at the top of the in-breath. And I thought, I wonder what this is about, because it felt like this preparation for the new. So I want to also just tell you at this point, I wrote this little note to remind myself that, you are your own unique individual person and part of the puzzle here for Earth. Each of us come with a set of skills, experiences and learnings, but we come with our own unique perspective and our own unique purpose and mission here on the earth. And when we come into that realization, we can really move into that place of letting go of competition, because the whole puzzle can't be completed without each of us completing our piece, and our piece is unique to each of the other pieces. So no one can do what we're here to do. No one can carry out that unique purpose. That's yours. That's mine. Each of us have that. So just remember that. And so working collaboratively is a way for each of us to come into that more quickly and more harmoniously. All right, so on the following day, the energies that were coming in, they had this diagonal look to them, and they had quite a hard kind of edge to them, so you could feel that in the body. It had this intensity, and it really started to create wobble. So Gaia said, and actually what I saw her doing was she was doing this with the planet. She was juggling it. She was turning it, she was moving it. She was kind of feeling into what was going on the earth and in the planet, and she was seeking to find the equilibrium for both the internal and the external of the planet. So it was just this gentle juggling, finding the weights, figuring out where things had to be moved from or expelled out, and where the tilt went and where the spin was going. So that was our experience on the 8th. And she also said that there was this very strong look at the configurations and the triangulations of beings in order to speed up the translation. So, yeah, she was really working with the counterbalances. That was how she described it. And we could, I guess, call it a calibration or a recalibration, but she spoke of it being the counterbalances, and it really reminded me of when we buy a new tire and the whole thing is calibrated and the weights are shifted and checked for the alignment. And so that's what she was doing, but not just on that one spin on the wheel, but spinning in all different directions. And so we were going through a couple of days after that, we were moving through releasing from the heart, and it was and everything was all in the spectrum of rainbow light. And what I saw occurring was, how can I describe it, like this like a spray, like a fountain of stars, and they were releasing upwards, and they were quite pastel, and they didn't have a lot of luminescence to them, and that was the representation of our old codes and programming leaving the planet, making, shifting out all of the old foundations, programmings, and beliefs. So she called it the old spectrum, the old codes, the old templates, and the old perspectives leaving now. And so that might be something that you might be called to do within your own inner work, is to have a look at what are the beliefs that exist for you that no longer serve you. What are the programs, the ways of operating, the perspectives that you hold that may not be current anymore. They may not have a place in your new way of being, and invite them to leave. All right, and then we moved into this foundational, what Gaia called foundational testing. And so that was where she was talking about, it's important for each of us to do that examining of beliefs that I just spoke about, and she's saying, release what doesn't serve, and then override or overlay your new beliefs, but be wary of not being too limiting. So keep open all the possibilities, and be limitless, be open, be infinite in your options and what you're calling in terms of your new beliefs and new ways of being. We are moving into greater expansion, into unlimitlessness, and into abundance. And time also, she's saying, to be seeking balance in all aspects of life. So, that's physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. That is work, life, leisure, family, friends, fitness, nutrition, hydration, exercise, all of those practices that you incorporate in your daily life for balance. Have a look at them, have a little review of your daily practices, and I just encourage you to make sure really that you're doing something for your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual balance each day. And she says, ensure that you create time for inner stillness. So that can be just a few moments of closing your eyes and focusing on the breath. That can bring you to a state of centeredness, to peace, to inner contemplation. Allow all the busyness to just be away and out of the mind. She's saying also to use sacred anointing and blessing in your day, with, you can use oils, or you can just use water to do that. But in your daily practice of, try and create some sacred time where you do that, where you might bless your food, and you bring energy into the water before you drink it, and into the bath, and in the shower, call that in. She's saying, let us move from being in push to being in allow, from being in control to being in divine allowance and divine granting, from being in lack to being in abundant flow, from being limited to being limitless, to practice being this on the inner planes, on the inside of you. Practice being each of those, and then watch it as it's reflected back to you in the external world. And to remind you that the turnaround for manifestation is much, much shorter and quicker now. You know, we really are moving well into our higher frequencies, which are accelerated and exponential. So things are happening more quickly. If you have really good focus and it's not wavering in terms of what it is that you're desiring, and you support that with your thoughts and your speech and your actions, your patterns of behaviour, then you'll find that things are coming to you very quickly now. Yeah, so I just wanted to speak to you a little bit about what you might have been feeling, because we've been essentially, you know, the synopsis of it all is that what we are going through and what the planet is going through is the same thing. We're releasing what doesn't serve us from our internal structures, from our cells, from our organs, from our systems, any of the things that don't serve us, that we're releasing them at the same time as bringing them into balance, into flow, into calibration. At the same time, you know, so it's having this purging effect as we're bringing in the new, but it's all happening very, very quickly, and that is why you might have been feeling a little bit grumpy and out of sorts today, because it's really, really sped up. So, you know, just know that all is well, that it's a great time to be bringing in good practice to support your own well-being. And yeah, from the heart of Gaia and from my own heart, I wish you so much love and a beautiful, peaceful time through this passage of time that we're transiting at the moment. You know, we're traversing the bridge really to our new earth. So I will catch you again soon. Bye.